Hello, and welcome back to Project Filmography, where I'm going through my list of movies that I like from 1920 to 2020, one by one, in chronological order, in collage form. Today's episode is a special one because our first full collage is ready to complete. We've reached the final 5 films of this first chapter. Today's episode features The Wizard of Oz, Fantasia, The Grapes of Wrath, The Great Dictator, and The Philadelphia Story. These movies close out the first 20 years of film history represented across this first collage. Let's get into it. There's really nothing else like The Wizard of Oz. Every time I watch it, it feels like opening a storybook that's been waiting for me. The transition from sepia to Technicolor still feels miraculous, like a cinematic door swinging open into a world that's emotional, musical, and just a little strange. What I love most is how it balances wonder with longing. Dorothy's journey is full of spectacle, but underneath is something universal, the pull of home, and the realization that home changes as you do. Even surrounded by fantasy, the film is grounded in sincerity, and that's why it never fades. Fantasia feels like Disney openly wondering, what else can movies do? It's less of a traditional film and more of an experiment in visual music, with animation shaped into emotion. Each sequence moves on instinct, letting color and rhythm replace dialogue. What stands out now is just how audacious it was. After the success of Snow White, instead of making another straightforward narrative, Disney attempted something abstract, impractical, and wildly ambitious. It works because it trusts the viewer to feel without needing every moment explained. Then, we leap from fantasy to harsh reality. The Grapes of Wrath brings the Great Depression to the screen with a mix of grit, compassion, and quiet resolve. John Ford films the Joad family with a kind of reverence, not pity, giving their struggle the weight of an American epic. And Henry Fonda's monologue to Ma Joad at the end of the film still gets me every time. It isn't grand or triumphant, it's gentle, steady, almost whispered. A reminder that even in hardship, we carry on for the people we love. The film doesn't tidy up the world, it simply insists that dignity matters, even when everything else is falling apart. In The Great Dictator, Chaplin finally speaks, and he does it to confront the rise of Hitler head on. It's astonishing how the film uses comedy not to trivialize fascism, but to strip it of its self-made glamour. By exaggerating the dictator's ego and theatrics, Chaplin reveals the fragility behind the facade. But the film is equally defined by its sincerity. Chaplin's final speech endures because it's a comedian dropping his mask at a moment when the world felt like it was sliding into darkness. Instead of parody, he chooses hope. It's a film with a backbone, a plea for sanity in a world that was losing its mind. And finally, The Philadelphia Story. Ending Collage One with this movie feels perfect, not only because of its charm, wit, and effortless blend of romance and screwball comedy, but also because I live in Philadelphia. There's something satisfying about closing the first collage with the film that shares my city's name, like the whole journey is circling back home before the next chapter begins. And the film itself, starring Katharine Hepburn, Cary Grant, and Jimmy Stewart, is such a beautifully balanced comedy. It lets its characters be flawed, sharp, funny, and tender, and then gives them room to grow. It believes in forgiveness and second chances, which makes it a warm, generous final note for this first collage. And that brings us to the end of the first 50 films. Seeing them all together, the fragments of color, the faces, the layers of style and history, it really feels like watching cinema evolve frame by frame. These movies show that film isn't a straight line. It loops, experiments, and contradicts itself. That's what I love most about this project. As the movies grow, so does the story they tell about the world around them. Finishing this first collage doesn't feel like closing a chapter so much as completing a foundation, a first map of where cinema has been, and a hint at where we're heading next. Thanks for watching this episode of Project Filmography, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!